Welcome back, everyone. The Google Pixel 5a just officially got released, so let's take a look at it and compare it against the original Google Pixel XL and see which one you should pick up. Now, if you want to pick up either one of these things, I'll leave a couple of the 5As and maybe some Pixel 2 XLs or 3 XLs in the description below. You can get them from there and help support the channel at the same time. Now, side by side, there definitely is a little bit of a difference. The Pixel 5a is a much bigger phone with a much bigger screen, but the Pixel XL seems like it's a little bit of a wider phone, even though the Pixel XL feels like it's the better feeling one out of these two. Now, the XL has that 5.5-inch AMOLED display, and to be honest, even when it first came out, it actually looked pretty good. I had very few things to complain about this specific phone. It felt really good in the hand. It still looks pretty good, but the bezels on this thing are ugly. They're massive, and especially if you get this white model, you can see that IR blaster on the front or whatever that is, the proximity sensor, and I'm not a fan of the way this specific phone holds up and actually looks like. Where the Pixel 5a actually has a much bigger 6.34-inch panel, it feels smaller in the hand because of the width, but it is a taller phone, but it is almost pretty much all display. You have that whole punch display up top, and it looks very, very good. Definitely much better looking than the Pixel XL, which shows how big of an advancement we've gone from a flagship, to an actual budget phone. Both have USB Type-C ports and have headphone jack, which is pretty cool up top. In terms of the thickness and thickness between the two, we almost have the same thing, but I think the 5A is a little bit thicker, but they both kind of feel the same thing. And on the back, aluminum, I guess, brush on the back. The Pixel XL does have a little bit of a glass shard up top, even though the 5A does have the fingerprint sensor in the same spot. The Pixel XL feels much better in the hand than the Pixel 5A, which is pretty interesting, but they both feel kind of the same. The Pixel 5A definitely looks better. Dual camera setup here, single camera setup here, and in terms of that covers it up there. Now on top of this, you pretty much have a pretty different software experience, even though they're both stock Android. The Pixel XL is done getting software updates. It's not getting any more versions. I think Android 10 was the last version it got. The Pixel 5a starting with Android 11. It's going to be getting the next version of Android and probably 2 more versions on top of that. But the Pixel XL does have a pretty large custom ROM community, so you can go pick up this phone and still custom ROM it and still be on Android 12 whenever that comes out. If you're not comfortable with custom ROMing, then the Pixel 5a is the better way to go, because this phone can actually go and be supported for a much longer period of time. You're also getting a much better battery life from the Pixel 5a as well. This is one of the biggest size batteries I've seen on a budget tier phone, and that is actually a really awesome thing. This is a very good battery life on this thing. The Pixel XL, to be honest, it didn't even have a bad battery life when it first came out, but I would definitely say throughout time, you're definitely going to be getting a much better experience from something like a Pixel 5a than the Pixel XL, because this is a smaller battery overall. Now that covers it up there, and now let's go and do a speed comparison between both these phones. The Pixel XL has that Qualcomm Snapdragon 821 chipset with 4 gigs of RAM, where the Pixel 5a has that Qualcomm Snapdragon 765G chipset with 6 gigs of RAM. So let's go and see which one is the faster phone between both of these. Okay, let me go and clear all the apps in the background, and they are all cleared out except for here. So let me swipe out here, and the Google Pixel XL is cleared out. Let's do phone calls. 3, 2, 1. Both were about the same. I was kind of surprised there. Messages 3, 2, 1, and the Pixel 5a is faster there. Play Store 3, 2, 1, and the 5a is faster. It looks like the XL is getting in this checking you out or whatever. I don't even know. Let's do Google Chrome 3, 2, 1. And looks like another login panel here. Let's go and hop out of this one. Camera 3, 2, 1. And about the same thing, not that big of a difference. As always, I have a bunch of these third-party apps. Let's do Snake versus Blocks 3, 2, 1. And definitely the 5a was faster. The Pixel XL was a little behind, but definitely I would say the 5a was the faster one there. Gameplay wise, as you can see, I think roughly around the same thing, but definitely not that big of a difference. Hopping out of this one, let's get into Temple Run 2, 3, 2, 1. And it looks like the Pixel 5a is the faster one. The original one, the XL, was quite a bit behind, This is pretty big of a difference. I mean, this was a flagship a couple of years ago, definitely isn't a new phone anymore. But that was a pretty big difference if I'm being completely honest. Let's go and get into something like Thank You, which I don't even have here. Let's get into Bofa, 3, 2, 1. And I think the 5a, I actually don't know. That one was a little bit confusing. Instagram, 3, 2, 1. 5a is faster. Little XL was a little bit behind. Snapchat 321. 5A again is the faster one. Fruit Ninja 321. And they are on two different versions of the game, so that's a big thing to keep in mind. The XL was faster to load into the older version of the game, so keep that in mind. Although I still think if they both were updated, it would be a little bit of a different story. And that's another big thing to keep in mind too. Look at the gestures. It was definitely a much smoother experience on the 5A for sure. Getting into some of these apps that we loaded before, you can see the 5A was able to keep that app. The XL actually restarted that application going back in the beginning. Let's load up this one. This one did pretty good. Let's go back in the beginning yet again. And the 5A actually closed that one out, but this one also didn't load it up in the background. So I think overall, when it comes down to the speed department of both of these, phones, I think the 5A does a good job, and I think it's better than the XL for sure. But the Pixel XL still is pretty decent. I would say the 5A is a smoother phone and the faster phone, but the XL is still a pretty decent phone overall, and I'm actually pretty happy about the performance of this specific device. So in terms of that, that covers it up there. Now let's go and hit on the cameras. Now with the Google Pixel XL, you're getting a single camera setup. So it's a wide angle lens and it's a pretty good camera. I think when it first came out, people liked it and people still like it. It gets the job done. It's definitely not a bad camera by any means. I'm just not a fan of the software. Like I just don't like, stock Android software. I feel like Samsung's is definitely much better in terms of the camera app, but everything else, stock Android is much better in my opinion. But when this phone first came out, this was the overhyped camera like crazy. People were hyping this camera up like crazy. They said it's the best camera of all time. And I think from 2016, this may have been one of the better cameras for sure. Now with something like the Pixel 5a, you're getting not only that same camera, but you're getting an ultra-wide sensor as well, which is really awesome. And on top of that, you're getting higher resolution, at least in terms of the frame rate, filming on the Google Pixel 5a. So you're able to film in 4K at 60, which is a really impressive thing to be able to do, on a budget phone especially. Now on the front camera, 1080p on both, so you're really not getting a better front-facing camera. I mean, the 5a is going to be better, but the back camera is the bigger difference, and the 5a definitely wins in terms of both cameras, but especially the back camera with that dual camera setup. So in terms of the camera setup, that covers it up there. And to kind of sum up this video and to answer the question, should you go and buy a Google Pixel XL or should you go and buy a Google Pixel 5a? Well, this is what I'll tell you, I would definitely say the 5a is the better way to go each way you look at it. This is a better phone. It's going to be getting you a much longer lifespan. It's faster than the Pixel XL, better battery life, better cameras, better screen, better everything literally. And the best thing is you're really not missing out on too much. Like you're still getting the headphone jack, you're still getting stock Android, you're getting a similar build quality, but you're just getting a much better phone overall. The Pixel XL, though, is still pretty impressive, and the only reason I would even kind of recommend buying this phone still is if you're willing to custom ROM it. If you're willing to custom ROM it and move on from there, then I would say go for it. But for everyone else, I mean, you're better off picking up a Pixel 5a. You're better off even having like a Pixel 3a over the Pixel XL, in my opinion. That phone is going to last you much longer than this one. Although the only thing the Pixel XL is better in is the build quality. Like this phone definitely feels better than the Pixel 5a in my opinion. After feeling both and feeling both in the hand right now, the Pixel XL feels more premium, especially with that glass thing up top. But the Pixel 5a is a better phone I'd recommend. So that pretty much covers it up there. If you guys have any other questions or anything, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.